Never give up, never surrender. Whether you're Winston Churchill or the crew from Galaxy Quest, if you're up against the odds, you've got to pull something special out of the hat. And Nissan was in that boat when it tried to compete with Europe's best small cars with the Pulsar and later the Tiida, but failed. Until they decided to butch up a hatch and make it more muscular and raise the ride height with the Qashqai. Released in 2007, the Dualis, as the Qashqai was called in Australia at the time, proved to be a global smash hit. So if you drive a Mazda CX-30, a Subaru XV/Crosstrek or a Hyundai Kona, you've got Nissan's ingenuity to thank for that. Anyway, now Nissan's at it again with the Qashqai ePower. This car is electric first hybrid in that it uses a petrol engine to charge a battery. So it's more than a Prius, but less than a Tesla. Should you consider it? Should you even buy one? Stay tuned and let's find out. Right now, there's only one ePower version of the Qashqai, and that's based on the flagship TI, and it's gunning for Honda's superb ZR-V eHEV and the new generation Toyota CHR. Now they're both conventional hybrids, so this one has got the advantage on those. I smell a hybrid war! Starting from $51,590 before on road costs, going electric hybrid adds $4,200 to the price, but it does place the Qashqai TI ePower right amongst the ZR-V, Kona and CHR Cobra hybrid grade equivalents. Do note though that both the CHR and Kona hybrids also come in grades costing under $45,000, something the Qashqai ePower won't match until the lower spec versions arrive in Australia sometime later on. At least Nissan sees fit to stuff the TI with luxuries like adaptive LED headlights, a head-up display, panoramic sunroof, hands-free power tailgate, a 10-speaker Bose audio system, heated front seats with massaging function, pleated leather trim, front and rear USB outlets, 19-inch alloys, and a host of driver assist safety tech. But ePower buyers lose the essential temporary spare wheel for the fiddly and often useless tyre repair kit. Not good enough, Nissan. You do get to enjoy a surprisingly gutsy 1.5 litre 3-pot turbo petrol engine though, whose sole job is to keep the battery that runs the electric motor that drives the front wheels charged. More on that later. Indeed, you can read my full, unadulterated Qashqai TI ePower review at carsguide.com.au to find out more. Right, unless you're 7 or 9 from Voyager, you probably won't notice the little detail changes that denote this as an ePower version of the 3rd generation Qashqai. And by little, I actually mean some extra lipstick gloss up front and a sprinkling of ePower badges around the car. That's it. So the very stylish grille remains, the beautiful proportions and these lovely alloy wheels which are standard on the TI, they look good. While around the back, it's clearly referencing the 2 previous Qashqais, and you know, for most people that's a good thing because this thing has been such a success. Anyway, inside the car, inside the Qashqai, it's pretty much the same as any other Qashqai, and in fact, over the generations, things have just evolved slowly. But for this particular 3rd generation one, Nissan has really upped the quality and the ambience. From the quilted seats through to the large screen displays and the use of high quality materials, it is such a stretch for the brand, and it really shows that this thing is actually out of Europe, really more so than Japan. I don't think I'm stretching my neck out too far stating that this is probably Nissan's best interior of recent times. High points include doors that open nice and wide for easy entry and egress, a modern and attractive dashboard design, dominated by a stylish and user-friendly high-resolution central touchscreen, an excellent drive-in position, comfort front seats, clear instrumentation that still manages to convey as much or as little data as you need without bamboozling you with info overload, stacks of storage, and very effective ventilation, including outlets front and back. Plus, this vast sunroof shelves the cabin with light, and unlike many other European and Chinese brands, there's a full sunblock cover to help keep things cool under our hot Australian sun. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the TI ePower grade earns its premium pricing and positioning stripes. And moving to the back, it's fairly spacious back here. This is my driving position. It has all the amenities, as I mentioned earlier in the voiceover, and it's generally a pleasant, comfortable and refined place to be. Now, here's a fun fact. Nissan says there's no change in cargo capacity between this and the regular ICE version of the Qashqai. The figure is on your screen right now. So how does this black magic work? Well, for starters, if we move around the side, the battery actually lives under here. While, if you open the bonnet, all the electrical gubbins happen. So, there you go. Like I said before, this 1.5 litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, which has a unique variable compression ratio, is an electricity maker only, mated to a smallish 2.1 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery and inverter, powering an electric motor that sends drive via a single speed reduction drive transmission to the front wheels. That's quite a mouthful. Power and torque maximums are 140 kilowatts and a considerable 330 newton meters respectively. And along with sport and eco modes, there's also a one pedal driving option that provides electricity saving regenerative braking that washes off a good deal of speed to substantially slow you down. It really is a stepping stone between a hybrid and a full EV, and you never have to plug it in anywhere. Like all current Qashqais, the ePower sits on a global Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance platform that's longer and wider than found in the previous model. It also includes myriad changes to the multi-link rear suspension design to accommodate all the additional tech that's been fitted. Note though that despite Nissan's best efforts to keep the kilos down by deploying aluminium for the doors, bonnet and front guards, the price for all this under-bonnet electrification is a hefty 200 kilogram weight gain. And let's not forget that missing spare wheel as well. If you have a tyre blowout in the middle of nowhere with no phone reception, you will likely be stranded. Good luck with that. Which, by the way, also partly explains how the cargo capacity hasn't dropped over the regular ICE-powered Qashqai. Now, given this is a hybrid and an EV first hybrid at that, the big question is how many dilithium crystals, unleaded petrol amounts you need to put inside this black hole. Nissan reckons the TI ePower should average around 5.2 litres per 100 kilometres. We managed a still commendable 5.8 as indicated by the trip computer, but we didn't have a chance to test it from pump to pump. Note too, as with all Qashqais, the ePower needs more expensive 95 RON premium unleaded petrol. Okay, we're in the driver's seat of the Qashqai ePower, and there are two things that spring to mind immediately. The first one is that initially, just when you first take off, it does feel a little bit heavier than you might expect. It certainly isn't small car light, so it's not hatchback light. And the second one is how normal everything feels once you get used to that initial first impression. Acceleration is quite deceptive because you put your foot down and you think, oh yeah, this is pretty fast, pretty zippy. But then you kind of just tickle the throttle more because it's in EV mode and it just kind of whooshes forward. So it's quite punching. The petrol engine kicks in at a certain time, you hear it. I mean, there's no denying the fact that this car is an EV first hybrid, so it does require that petrol engine to sustain the battery that I'm sitting on that powers the front wheels. But it's all so smooth and seamless. Honestly, if I didn't know that this was a particularly different type of EV hybrid setup, I would think that I'm driving something like a hybrid Camry
or Prius in terms of its natural and easy responses. I do like the steering. The setup is quite sporty, and that reflects this car's European breeding, I think. There's a nice amount of feedback. It reacts easily to inputs, and there's a confident and stable attitude in the late corners. It's got something for the keener driver to sink their teeth in if they want to. On the flip side of that, I think the ride is a little bit firm. Not too firm, it's not hard, and it's definitely not uncomfortable, but it is firmly set up on these larger 19-inch alloy wheel package that the TI comes in. As a consequence of that, there is some road noise intrusion that comes in over some highway surfaces. But I mean, it's generally a fairly quiet and relaxed tourer. On the open road, cruising at the national speed limit, it's relaxing and quite hugged down and safe feeling. So it absolutely meets the brief as a European SUV with a sporty edge. And I mean, let's keep in mind that being an ePower, a big chunk of its appeal is the fact that it's actually meant to be quite economical. And just a word about ePedal. I really like the fact that it provides enough braking resistance for it to be useful around town. For approaching an intersection, it brings you to a substantial stop, but not quite a full stop. Yet it's loose enough for you to just kind of keep under the speed limit if you need to without having to press on the brake. It's a really good system. I think Nissan has really judged that well, just like they've judged the driver assistance systems in terms of the lane keep, the blind spot, and the adaptive cruise control functions. They are really subtle and unintrusive in the way they feel. They feel well developed. Overall then, I've got to say that the Qashqai, it could possibly be the best driving Nissan you can buy new this side of its fabulous Z sports car. It's a lot of fun to drive, and certainly something if you enjoy going on long drives, because as I said before, it's relaxing and comfortable.
The ePower is included with the rest of the current Qashqai range in scoring a 5-star ANCAP crash test result, and that was conducted back in 2021. Among a long list of standard safety items, it includes a front and centre airbag and front to rear curtain airbag coverage, as well as full AEB with cyclist and pedestrian detection, active lane assist systems, rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control, and a very handy surround view monitor. You can get a full account of the Qashqai's ePower safety specifications in my full review at carsguide.com.au. Like all Qashqais, the TI ePower offers a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty that also includes roadside assistance. Service intervals are at every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres. Now that's 5,000 kilometres less than in the regular petrol-powered version. Nissan also offers a choice of servicing options, starting with a cap price servicing that is actually nearly $1,000 cheaper than the regular ICE version of the Qashqai, over a 6-year period that is, as published by the company's website. It comes to around $2,850. Plus, pay in advance and there's an additional 10% discount too. Of course, terms and conditions do apply. So, should you give up on the Qashqai ePower or surrender to its many and varied charms? Well, when Nissan really puts its mind to it, it can be as imaginative and as innovative as any car maker on the planet. And given that this car is so advanced and so unique within the SUV universe, well, we reckon you should check it out. Don't forget, you can check the full review at carsguide.com.au, and as always, thanks for watching.